Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, I wanted to kind of go over some different things since I've been reloading a lot of 308 lately. Um, I'm whittling through the different kinds of bullets I have and stuff just on the shelf, and I'm kind of going about just reloading everything basically. So, while I was doing this, I started to think about the different ways that these bullets are manufactured and how they're made, and the way that they are balanced and everything. And so I just wanted to kind of go over that. So this little guy down here, this is the Patriot Pills accuracy prescription from Alco bullets, and these are the 175 grain rebated boat tail ultra low drag with a stated G1BC of 707. So a very, very high ballistic coefficient. Got the rebated boat tail, got a really, really fine, sharp pointed tip there, or a very fine mayplat, or however they pronounce that. And then this second one here, it's already loaded, obviously, but this is a 208 grain boat tail hollow point match from Hornady. And then this guy here is a 208 grain ELD match, also from Hornady. And this little guy down here, this is actually 6.5 bullet. This is a 264 caliber. I don't have any of these in 308, so we're kind of comparing apples to oranges here, but this is a 264 or 6.5 millimeter, and it's the Hornady A-tip match, and this is the 153 grain. But the caliber is not really important. What is important is the construction. So when they're making these bullets, they want to make them balanced in a way that most of the weight is towards the rear portion of the bullet. And so they want to lighten up the front and shove that center of gravity a little bit past the middle towards the rear of the bullet. And so they've done this, bullet manufacturers have done this in many different ways over the years. The most common way is probably the boat tail hollow point, or OTM, which is referred to as open tip match. And so in this construction of the bullet, this nose portion here, probably from around about where my fingernail is forward, is actually empty. And so that's what it gives it that name, the open tip match, is because this portion of the copper jacket forward is actually empty. There's no lead in there. So there's lead from here back, but there's no lead in the front. And what that does is that pushes the center of gravity further back past the middle of the bullet, because you've got this long skinny tip, and then you've got a kind of a thicker midsection and a thicker tail on it. So you want to balance it out by pushing the center of gravity a little bit back by reducing some of the mass in the front and reducing some of the weight and the density in the front. So that's the way the open tip match works. I've been doing that for years. Another way of doing it is with the ELD match, or your Sierra Match Kings with the tipped Sierra Match Kings. They come with green tips. The ELDs come with red. But basically the same thing. It's a polymer tip. It fills a little bit of the void up in the front, and then it's got a polymer tip. So it increases the length of the bullet, but it doesn't add very much weight to the front of the bullet. And so again, that is pushing that center of gravity further towards the rear to keep it more balanced. So it'll keep it more nose on target, over distance. Now, Hornady, the way they decided to do theirs with the A-tip, and this is kind of like a newer thing. They've only been doing this for just a few years, but instead of a polymer tip or instead of an open tip match, they've gone to an aluminum tip. So they've got an aluminum tip inserted into the front of this. Now, as far as I can tell, I don't know how much that actually helps it. Maybe the aluminum is a little bit lighter than the polymer, or maybe it's just a little bit heavier than the polymer. But supposedly these have a little more better balanced flight, I guess, than the polymer ones. I know that the price is a lot higher than the ELD match. If you go buy the A-tip match versus an ELD match, you're going to pay quite a bit more money for the A-tip. Now, this little guy here from Alco Bullets, this is kind of something different because they've got a few things going on different. First of all is this rebated boat tail. Like, you do not see this very often. And it's not a very new technology, actually. But it's a technology that still, I guess it's kind of still a novel thing. Some companies will do it. I think the lock base Lapua bullets feature a rebate boat tail. Do not hold me 100% there. Do not quote me on that. But I believe Lapua still features or offers a rebated boat tail. There may be a few other manufacturers out there that offer a rebated boat tail, but basically the rebated boat tail is designed to disrupt the drag coming off of this bullet. So disrupt kind of the, I guess the wind behind it, the drag behind the bullet, and more or less make it a little more slippery through the air and make it retain a little less drag. And then another feature is this tip here. Now, this tip is actually made of steel. They do have aluminum versions, but this particular one is made of steel. This is a machined metal, steel tip. Now, it's not a like hardened steel tip. It's not designed for armor penetrating purposes or anything like that. It's not, tempered. It's not hardened. It's not made out of tungsten or anything. It's just a mild steel tip, and it does go down into the jacket a little ways, but you would kind of see how much bigger the tip is on this than like on the ELD match. It is significantly more material there. And the same thing with like your A-tip, it's significantly more material there. So the tip on this bullet, being steel, is a lot less dense than lead, like versus your lead core, is going to shove your center of gravity quite a bit further back. So, of course, there's a whole ton of very complicated math that we could do and find the exact center of gravity for this bullet in relation to the tip and the butt of the bullet. But we're not really going to go down that rabbit hole right now. We're just going to observe and look at it and kind of like, in your mind, you would have to think that the boat, or the the way the boat tail shaped and the tip and everything, like the center of gravity is probably quite a bit further back in this type of construction than it would be in this one, or this one, or even this little guy down here. But now another thing is the type of the ogive shape that we've got here is a little different too. Is you've got this really long tip that comes to a very, very sharp point, but if we kind of set the shoulder to shoulder versus this other 308 caliber bullet, it's actually a shorter tip. So I don't know. I don't know how that really affects the BC. I'm not really a ballistician or anything like that. I'm just kind of like a nerd, and I like to look at things. And the same thing here. Actually, with the boat tail hollow point, we're looking probably close to a 1-to-1 where it comes back as far as the ogive goes to the bearing surface. But with the ELD, definitely the ELD match definitely has a longer ogive to it as well. And I'm not going to really compare this to this other one because this is a 6.5 bullet, whereas this is a 308. So, I mean, they're really apples to oranges, and I don't want to draw any conclusions there. But I just thought it was kind of interesting to show a few of the aspects when it comes to these Alco bullets compared to a lot of other commercially available bullets. If you like this kind of content, if you want to leave a comment below what you think about these, go ahead and subscribe and go ahead and do that. Drop us a comment. I would love to read it and reply to it. Thanks for watching.